Hey everybody, thought I'd do another update here of the Aquaponics system. So I am no longer referring to it as an experiment. As you can see, the fish have been moved into a much bigger tank. It's a 27-gallon Sterilite container I got from Home Depot. They were formerly in a 10-gallon aquarium using about 7 gallons of water. And now we're in a 27-gallon container and we're using about 22 gallons of water. The fish, as you can see, are happy as hell. Everything else is pretty much the same underneath. Still got the same drain tube. But let's move upstairs, because let's remember, this is aquaponics, this isn't a fish tank. And that's really tough for me because I love fish. I love keeping fish. I like raising them. They're very relaxing. But the whole purpose for this is to grow vegetables. So let's take a look upstairs. Whoop. And we've gone from a little itty-bitty tiny plastic container to a 17-gallon heavy-duty plastic container. These are the same plants that I had growing in that little itty-bitty container. We've got the same cucumbers. This is the same romaine. And these are the same tomatoes. And there's a little guy up front. Clearly from my last video, I had no room left in that grow container. Not only did I not have any room to put any more plants in there, but I didn't have enough room for the plants that were in it. You can see this tomato plant over here is doing well. I got a lot of nice growth. I was really worried when I transplanted that I was going to lose them. I did the transplant over this past weekend. Today's Wednesday. And I switched everything over on Saturday. So we got about 3.5 days, maybe 4 days in the new setup here. And they really seem to be doing well. I've had to fool around with the lighting. Can't seem to get it exactly the way I want it. I'm going to have to construct my own. But for the time being, these clamp-ons are working just fine. Cucumbers are showing some nice new growth. And you can hear the bell siphon drain, or the system draining from the bell siphon. This, of course, is not the same bell siphon I had before, but it is modeled after the one I made that was working well. Just take a look here, you can hear it finishing up the drain. A little burp coming. There it is. Here's the bell. Well, aside from the fact that it's considerably longer than the other one was, still pretty much the same setup. Now, the one thing that is different is I'm using a 3/4 PVC pipe for the standpipe as opposed to a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is what I was using before, now I'm using 3/4. And it's working well. I have the height of the standpipe set right where I want it. Doesn't quite fit on there flat like it did with the other setup. Just kind of on account of the way the bottom of this tank that I picked I went with, this container I went with, the bottom isn't flat. It's got some ridges, but it's working. And you can see here, it's all moist. There's plenty of moisture here. See? And I've got some more grow material, some more of this expanded clay pellet. I've got it soaking out in the shop, so I can add some more as I need to. But yeah, everything's growing nicely. I'm hoping pretty soon we'll start to see some flowers. But trying to keep this inside this small little desk here. It's still experimental size, but since I already know the experiment worked, I'm able to get the right amount of nutrient out of the fish for the plants. The plants are doing a great job of cleaning the water, so the fish keep doing what they're supposed to do. I did add this. That's actually not the right size for the container here. This is a 515 gallon, just a little biofilter. It just kind of helps to keep the... Well, there was two reasons for it. One, I wanted to clean the water up a little bit. It was starting to get kind of murky. But the other reason is that because it's got a replaceable filter that sits in there, when I moved from the little 10-gallon tank to this one, I took that pump and just set it up in there and let it run overnight. And that filter that was in there was just loaded with all kinds of bacteria that it's cleaning. And that bacteria is what we need to make this stuff grow. So instead of having to take the whole system and recycle it and start all over from scratch, I used the bacteria from this, the water that was in the aquarium, and then a good portion of the grow media that was in that small grow container I topped off in here. And then what that did was it pretty much created an already cycled system. And I think by now, that had I not had a well enough established bacteria in the system, that these plants would probably be starting to show signs of decay. Or maybe not decay, but they wouldn't be continuing to grow. And they're just doing great. They really are. So I'll still be doing some live feeds of the fish because everybody loves to watch the fish. But just understand that it's going to look cloudy, or it might not look super clear, but that isn't because the water isn't clean. You can look in there, man. That water's clean. There's a tremendous amount of oxygen in there, as there should be. But it's just going to look a little foggy because we're kind of going through, a plastic container instead of glass or acrylic. So as I said about a month ago, I'm overgrowing, or I've outgrown what I had. So we upgraded, but we're doing it in baby steps. I was going to set up a much bigger system, a much bigger water tank, a sump system as well, and then multiple grow beds. But it just seemed to me it made a little more sense just to take one step forward and move what I already had growing really well into a bigger system and a bigger water container for the fish. We can add a few more fish, and before I had 8 and 10 gallons and I had too many fish, and now I have 8 and about 22 gallons, and I think I need a few more fish. So we'll probably remedy that here over the next few days. But vegetation is growing like it should. If you guys decide that this looks like it's something interesting, please feel free to ask me questions. I'm not the aquaponics god. Check YouTube. There is someone there, the aquaponics god, Brooklyn St. Michael. If you need to know anything about this, he's the man to go to. But if you got a couple of plastic containers and a little, or is it hiding over there? A little air pump. And back in the corner in there, right about there, a little 40 gallon an hour water pump, aquarium pump. You too can grow vegetables at home. You too can go ahead and tell the man what to do with his GMO destructive seeds and pesticides. Do it yourself. Oh, and yeah, somebody asked me the other day, aren't you worried about what these vegetables are going to taste like? Because, well, seems like you're using fish waste. And a lot of the other aquaponics guys call it another word for the excrement of the fish. I like to use the word waste. But aren't you worried that these vegetables are going to taste like fish waste? Well, I guess my answer to that was the last time you had a steak, what did it taste like? Or the last time you had a tomato, did it taste like cow waste? Probably not. Well, I don't expect that this is going to taste like fish waste either. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, I've gone ahead and cheated and taken a couple of these little guys here and made a sandwich. And it's really tasty. So, and maybe fish poop tastes better than cow poop. I don't know. I'm not going to go out and do a sample, I promise you that. But I am going to keep doing updates, and I'm going to keep planting, and I'm going to keep expanding. And I hope you guys keep watching and subscribe and like and share, because I really would like to grow this channel, get more people interested in what we're doing here. But that's it for now. See ya!